G'day, and welcome back to ChunkyNadz, episode 21. Valamore Start 1 Chunk Iron Man, and we've been going this is almost on 2 years now. Last episode, we rolled Moss Giants, and shortly after that, Sailing came out, which is why you can see this vile creature on the left. But more on that later. Let's instead jump into what's been happening at Chunky HQ since we rolled those Moss Giants and where we head after that. Alright, Moss Giants. So, what do we actually need here? Well, we've already got our long and curved bones, so we are down to just 2 items. One in 64 Magic Staff, which is a disgusting best in slot, and the 1 in 150 Mossy Key, which used to provide access to Briarfighter and now unlocks a chest. Briarfighter has been well and truly nerfed. Ooh, 1 in 64, and we can tick that one off. Garbage best in slot task completed. So the best drop we're going to get from these Moss Giants is a Ranar seed, as well as all the other seeds on the drop table. We'll also get, Ranar seed number 1. Pretty good smattering of runes as well, which is good for the magic training. So as the life of this Moss Giant draws to a close, we have now hit 150 Moss Giants slaughtered, which means we can now complain that we are dry for the Mossy Key. Definitely officially dry now. And with this here Moss Giant, we're going to cross 200. So 50 past expected KC, and that's okay. Down he goes before we pop that loot tracker. Never lucky, but strawberry seeds, no supply. 200 Moss Giants, 210k. It is not a moneymaker. Pick up the mine rune. Runger. Oh, come on. Editor Nads, put in what the drop rate is. That's ridiculous. Oh, this is not bad. This is an easy chunk roll. This won't take too long. Just a 1 in 150 Mossy Key, they said. Well, 300 Moss Giants. And you know what's not there? A Mossy Key. Hey! Finally got the Mossy Key. 305 kills in, which sets us up for a chunk roll. Heading over to our good friend, the Chunk Picker. Let's tick off the 2 Moss Giant tasks. Adjust our map to include what is actually rollable, 9 and 10. You must depart. And hopefully avoid a potentially awful fate at chunk number 9. But no milking. We're just going to jump straight into it. Yes, proceed. And not milking has its benefits. Sunrise Palace. So it's a quest start. Twilight's Promise. Nothing else, because we still require Fortis Kothon before we are even able to go further with that. So, with the quest completed in the background, thank you Editor Nads for making that seamless, tick those 4 chunk tasks off. We're now down to 8 chunks available for roll. And once again, with some adjustment and in the spirit of not doing any milking whatsoever, we're already into it. And the next trip is to the Tiamat, which is free. Does unlock a pretty good training method for prayer once we have many bone shards. But for now, it's the Twilight Promise endpoint. We can't do anything with it. What we can do, just do another roll. because we're on a streak. We're rolling free chunks. And while the going is good, we can lead to Alderaan, or Aldaran, or whatever it's called. This should be free, but we can leave the island, so let's check it out. Thinking, and confirm free. I cannot believe that after 1,556 levels, strictly within the handful of chunks we had available, we can unclick, double, uncloud, unshroud, a new area, chat up Antonia, and check out some new lands. So, having a bit of a poke around, there's a gem store that we can't thieve from. I thought we could have, so it's a bit of a weird one. Turkey gives us some gems. And looks like there's a food store here. I don't know where the person is. Maybe they're on strike. Well, they're upstairs. Nope. There. Papaya. I mean, I could sell them, but not buy. Unicorn. What are you? A porcupine. Okay, cool. Kind of cool. Shopkeep for a general store. I imagine that's pretty standard. I imagined correctly. Newness, so much newness. But that's near enough it for the chunk. It is another free one. Home portal here. We do not have the construction level to utilize that. And it looks like we can run a little bit further down along the cliff face, and nothing here too. We're actually able to roll straight into another chunk roll. We're on quite a chunk rolling streak here, and we do pick up 2 new free chunks to further explore the island of Alderaan. Number 7, Villa and Gardens, and number 9, which is just an area that's got a little bit of hunter and not much else. That's a loom. That's not going to help us. I thought for a moment that was going to be a spinning wheel, and I was going to get a little bit excited, but not. Nothing else new. 9 chunks now instead of 8. A 1 in 9 chance of getting screwed, and an 8 in 9 chance of not. So let us hope that the RNG gods are on our side. They are on our side. That's a troll chunk though. Coliseum rear dock. There is nothing to see or do there. We'll check that out later. We may as well just go straight back into it. Now a 1 in 8 chance. A little less cool. But we're on a streak. Streak is streak. And, oh, more of Alderaan. Let's check it out. New chunk, new lands. So let's have a look-see. This fella's kind of familiar from Coliseum. That's our shaman. I mean, that's a stone version of our shaman. House, some cabbage. Oh, capybara. House on the hill. Some hunter creatures. Basically just a settlement with not much doing. Onion, water. Just kind of feeling useless and free. Free and useless. Chichilhui Rosé. It's a nice sounding bottle of plonk. Back in familiar territory with the chunk picker, and 2 new chunks available to us. Chunk number 8, Moonrise Brewery and Winery. I think this also has the Herblore skill thingy. Not able to access that at this point in time with Herblore not unlocked, but that will be a pretty handy unlock if we can get there. It's also a hops patch, so never say no to a little bit of extra farming. Do not forget your farm runs, boys and girls. And chunk number 9, which has just hidden, just on the side here, is magic trees. that would be pretty handy, magic logs. We have the fletching level to attack those, or to process those, I should say. But no spinning wheel yet. And we're still a couple of rolls away from a spinning wheel, but it would be nice to get a magic short bow just to be able to improve upon what we have for a Colosseum loadout. And the streak is going to continue on Alderaan. Very cool. Checking again on chunk tasks. And, oh, hello. There must be an agility shortcut here that gives experience. We've got ourselves a bit of a grind. 62 agility and some clogs. Well, new land, new map piece to unlock, and really not much available. The slither we're going to run up right now is all we can explore without partially completing the quest, so let us do that and see where we end up. As we meander through the Death on the Isle quest, Patsy wants us stealing some clothing, and the wiki tells us we need to go through the house window, so we're breaking in, as is the norm. Hang on. That gave agility XP. Oh no. Is this our training method to 45? Okay, the guard said no. Well, hang on, what if the guard's not there? Can we repeat this action? Oh no. Oh, that's awful. Alright, the monkeys at ChunkyNadz HQ have been hard at work, and at 1 XP per 27,823 actions to hit level 45. And what happens at level 45? Well, we've not actually touched on that. That is going to give us access to the Colossal Worm Agility course with a Summer Pie boost. So that is how we get this chunk task underway. So we'll be back in gosh knows how many hours after we jump through this window almost 28,000 times. Level 40, by the way. Bit the bullet on the one mahogany seed that we had to try and grow a tree that will actually enable us to chop some mahogany logs and fletch essentially a crossbow stock of mahogany that can be added to some adamant limbs, and one day, if we do in fact unlock a spinning wheel, we'll be able to complete the adamant crossbow. And that is some juicy experience. 15,700. Delightful for the farming gains. And they are the first mahogany logs on the account. I think we're going to stack up a couple hundred mahogany logs before we plant the next seed in the patch, which means some running back and forth, which means some free hunter experience, which should go out of our way to get this last one, give us 93 hunter. Maybe 2 minutes of video has transpired, and meanwhile 15 plus hours of gameplay has transpired, all of which dedicated to getting 45 agility with the near 28,000 volts through a window, and I never want to do it again. Sailing. New monsters, new lands, new seas, new seeds, and the first that we can reach offshore is actually a stingray. So we kill, we harvest, and we we pick up a collection log. Okay, well, I mean, that would be a chunk task completed if we knew that it was a chunk task to begin with. We mentioned new seeds, and one of those is a camphor, which is a hardwood seed, grown relatively easily with a lot of XP, 83 farming also. We also have a rosewood seed in this chunk, which would require 92 farming or 89 plus 3. Those that tuned into ChunkyNadz from the very start, we spent our first 6 months getting to 82 farmer. It was not great content, and we've made the decision to make this 92 passive, but it will trigger some grinds anyway that we'll get to shortly. After digressing to farming, let's navigate now for the wormy. Summer pie's at hand, so let's boost up and give it a shot. Once we're up, the boost doesn't matter, but let us zoom through this here course, because no one really needs to sit through the entire minute. So zoom, 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 zoom. Edit to nads. This does mean that you need to put this at a higher speed. And whee down the zip line to complete our first lap. And ironically, maybe not ironically, but that's a chunk task complete. Bit more worming done in the background, and that brings us to over 40 termites, which means we can purchase the Colossal Worm Teleport Scroll and tick off another chunk task. Editor Nad stepping in here to remind everyone that variety is the spice of life. And so let's have a look at how our Colosseum progress is going. This, wave 3, pretty good. Solve and dead. Wave 5 this time. Again, looks very well solved actually. Knock out the Major. Knock out the Jaguar. Or the Claw guy. And then it would be Colossus, Shaman, Manticore. Don't need to see all of that. Dead Manticore. Trust me, it happened. We've completed wave 5. We've already picked up those D plates. So let's give wave 6 a shot. This spawn was not ideal. But let's just take a moment. These are some beautiful flicks. We're flicking Shaman and Colossus. We're dodging the pools. If we can get through this, skip through this Colossus because he's an easy kill. Oh. Nads, what are you doing? Why did you get the Jaguar? Why did you give yourself what? Nads, you better know what you're doing here. This is a wave 6 solve. This is a PB ready to happen. No, instead we're absolutely violated. Back to agility proceedings, and that's a lot of empty beer glasses. We have embraced alcoholism for the journey from 49 to 50 by way of a Sunbeam Ale, and there is the 50 that we just mentioned. Back at the Colosseum. Another wave 4 completion. These are always editor nads because we need to reflect on a really bad spawn. They're even on the same tick. You couldn't even flick that. Protect from range because that's the biggest danger. Protect from Manticore is probably good too. Be good to hide from that. Let's run, tank the range, a mage hit, flick the Manticore. Nice, nice. We can't hide there because that's where the reinforcements come from. Flick the Manticore again, and dead. Death 100 times over and 100 times again in the Colosseum is a learning experience. Part of the learning experience of Colosseum is knowing when your modifiers suck. And so, this will be the first time in a while we've done a Wave 1 claim. Normal service shall resume. We need to run and hide from the Manticore because we are out of position. We've set up the walk on the left-hand side. Skip that along. Deal with the minions. Unfortunately taking far too many hits. Who is hitting me? Oh, reinforcements. Better run and get maimed by the Manticore. Yeah. Dead. Alright, we're set up again. Ranger this time. Probably not too much we need to do to protect this, as long as we get our clicks right. And stop getting attacked by the Fremennik warriors. We're just not going to attack them at all. Okay, there we go. Let's distract that bitch. One down. I mean, that was a confident run. Fine. You forgot about Klossback. Now, we mentioned earlier the passive goal that is now 89 farming, and it leaving us with other goals that we need to achieve in order to hit a chunk roll. One of those is going to be 92 farm making. The reason for that is what is required to burn a rosewood log. Just because we can't grow it doesn't mean we're not going to trigger the requirement to burn it. So that is now a chunk of task needed. Kept this lamp at the back, in the back pocket, as part 1 of a double celebration, and this is a big milestone. 40 Slayer entirely from lamping. Yes, we want to push all the way to 48, but that's huge. Now, we mentioned a double celebration, so let us start to cross that course, flash up the stats, and you'll see there the keen eyes among us as we're getting some agility XP. 56 becomes 57, and 57 means we can boost to do the advanced course when we feel like it. Woodcutting, fire making and boring, so cue a little montage. That is 96 woodcutting. Fire making this time. 85 fire making, halfway there. $97 woodcutting. Neither woodcutting or fire making. 41 Slayer. Back to the choppies. That is 98. That's huge. 98 woodcutting. Lazy campfires. 90 fire making. 2 to go. 91 fire making. Home stretch. Let's talk about the vile creatures we looked at in the opening scene. When Jagex input sailing, they also gave us dolphins. Lovely dolphins. Who doesn't like a dolphin? I can tell you who doesn't like a dolphin. Any chunk account based on land. These cretinous creatures suck. You do roughly 25% of the normal damage that you would do. You can only attack them from a distance. If they hit you, they run away. And on top of that, you need a 1 in 927 Echo Pearl. What's good about the Echo Pearl? Absolutely nothing. It literally does nothing. And the drops kind of suck. You can get bronze and, iron? No, bronze and iron cannonballs, water runes, and the rest is crap. And if you take a look at the slowly dwindling arrow count, we started at 80,000. Because guess what? On top of... Hi, doggo. On top of all of that negativity, every arrow you shoot at a dolphin sinks to the bottom of the ocean. Jagex thought, oh, we'll make the player throw a net. That's a redeeming feature. And we'll give them gnome balls. Who wants a freaking gnome ball? I am raging at Dolphins. I am raging. Just give me the freaking drop. Screw Dolphins. Let's do something positive. 1 tick log. 2 tick log. 92 fire making and a chunk task complete. Members can now burn rosewood logs. Dolphin Rage requires a second hit of dopamine to quell. So, let's get 43 Slayer and feel good about ourselves. Back at the cretinous slime balls with 2200 of 80,000 arrows left. That's really bad for those playing at home. Now, fast forward this trash because nobody deserves to see a kill because Dolphins suck. 78 range, that level was entirely Dolphins, which means it was painful. Balancing the trash of Dolphins with a dopamine hit once more, and that gives 97 cooking. It's only fitting that we got the Echo Pearl on mobile. Yeah, cool. You can hear fish swimming. Who cares? 47 gnome balls, 57 bits of coral. Look at it, 10k iron cannonballs and 9,000 bronze and 47,000 water runes, and who cares? There's all the kills. Yeah, 2,137 and we got the thing, and I never want to kill another dolphin again. Pretty sure that every time we kill dolphins, we require some dopamine on the backside, and that is the max dopamine. This is max wood cutting dopamine. That is the first time we've hit 99 wood cutting on any account. Yes, it is the most AFK skill. Maybe I'm just not an AFK person normally. But here I am. ChunkyNadz is 99 wood cutting. Let's tick off the last few tasks and get a chunk roll going. In the spirit of getting things done, we have another colossal worm task to tick off. So let's start our basic course with that juicy, juicy summer pie just patiently waiting in the inventory. And that means it's gonna get nommed on. Set us on up, eat that summer pie, and now we are on the advanced course. Do we know what this does? Not really, but click the green tile and it will take you wherever you need to go. Pretends to fall. We have learned since that there is no such thing as falling on this here wormy course. And so, one more obstacle. Here comes the zip line. And that is a chunk task completed. Our first advanced agility course. Making sure we get adequate use of the summer pie. There is our second lap done. Personal best. Let's go and find that little wormy fellow. Where is he? There he is. Wormtongue. Let's have a chat. It's time to get a calcified acorn at a cost of just 900 termites. We've got 1,000, so we're going to buy one. Calcified acorn. Throw it in that collection log and tick it off as a chunk task complete. Which means we're kinda now set up to roll. flick it over to the chunk picker and start to tick off some of these tasks. So that is 57 plus 5 agility for the advanced course. Death on the Isle, completed a few steps of that, as well as the painful agility grind that it triggered. And of course, the collection logs, we just picked up the calcified acorn, and a longer time ago now, the colossal worm teleport. And so we're set up to jump into a chunk roll. Having a quick whip through here, 1 is free, 2 gets us Twilight Promise completion, 3 is free, 4 is free but takes a step close to the Quetzalcoatl Gorge, 5, no, we'll be able to complete more of Death on the Isle, 6, potentially Mons Gratia, 7 will put us towards some mining, 8, we don't want to talk about it, 9 is the Moonrise Brewery, which is kind of cool with the hops patch and the ability to brew stuff. And then number 10, it's free with some magic logs. So let's have a look at what the chunk roll looks like. As always, we get the warning, we want to proceed, and we're off to Mons Gratia. Shouldn't be any tasks here. Really curious what's actually accessible. Alright, we've made our way to Mons Gratia via the Tiamat, because that is the only way we can access it so far. We can see some ice fiends and cliffs and a broken bridge, and it's a meme chunk. Let's go straight back to the chunk roller. Well, after getting teased with a new area at Mons Gratia, we are back onto the chunk picker to select from the 9 available chunks this time around. Essentially, we want number 2. We don't want number 7. Yes, we do want to proceed, which makes us on the way to Fortiscothan. Number 2, we wanted it, we got it. The chunk picking gods were on our side. Take me there, load up my tasks please, and tell me I need to complete Twilight's Promise. Yes, which will make Quetzal travel unlockable. I don't even need to explore this chunk, I just want to finish the quest, but we're going to have a quick chat to Renu because this is the part of the quest that travel by Quetzal is unlocked. Look at all these beautiful places. Sunset Coast, where we are now, Alderan, Talteclan, Auburn some locked stuff, Quetzalcoatl Gorge. These all become rollable chunks. Anyone that's completed a few quests in RuneScape will know that the majority of them revolve around murder in some way, shape or form, and this one is no exception, with some cultists getting the chop. Anyway, with the cultists under wraps, we can now finish the quest. We can use Quetzals, we can actually use the teleport, and we can roll a new chunk. Back to the chunk picker, and the biggest thing to notice here is what we have available looks a little different now with Quetzal travel. We've got a few new additions. So number 3 is the Quetzalcoatl Gorge, which would give us access to bowstrings and crossbow strings. Also takes us a step closer to Huicotl. Number 6 gives us the eastern part or portion of Auburn, so that's a nice addition. Number 9 existed anyway, So let's look at 11. Number 11 could give us Taltechland. And so what this also means is once we trigger one of these Quetzal rolls, we can roll off the island. So every roll moving forward has pretty significant ramifications for the account. But we still don't want number 8 because it sucks. So no more milking. Let's jump into the roll itself. Hit the proceed button. And where are we off to? Okay, not Quetzal related, but magic trees should be free. The magic stuff might come up. Thinking. Yeah, the chopping of the magic love comes up. So let's just go straight into it. We've made our way there pretty quickly. Nice and seamless. Thank you, Editor Nads. Osprey in the distance. Grizzly bear. There's our magic tree. So using our 99 wood cutting, this should not take very long at all. Skip forward. 4 logs, finishing off the Explorer of the Chunk, and honestly, it's free for a reason. There's nothing additional to do. Don't kit. Saw nothing. 4 logs, 4 tasks. 1 for the actual picker. Actually, the picker was to chop, but magic shield, the best in slot for a crossbow. Magic short bow for when we can one day string it. And a magic longbow for having a magic longbow. Back to the chunk picker and let's go straight into another roll. Number 10 is our next available chunk. Dark Moon Ravine. Not a clue what it is. Everything else is as we've previously described. So again, to reduce the amount of milk in the video, we proceed and we make our way next. Somewhere brand new. We are gonna go to Taltechland. Chunk picker having a little think about the tasks that we may have here. What is it? Okay. It's free, but surely there's something to it. Straight across to our good friend Renew. And we now know that Taltechland right here is unlocked. At least from the map. We're going to have a look at what's here. There's our Quetzal. Okay. Bank. Kind of cool. Mahogany trees. Very cool. Though we've already got mahogany trees. A rowboat. I wonder if, does that count? I suppose it does. And, yeah. Okay. That rowboat will connect us to the gemstone crab. We have arrived in Taltechland. We've gone straight to the bank because banks are cool. The rest of the chunk is kind of the settlement. And then heading further out to the mahogany logs, but a general store, nothing new there. And upstairs, there's some pot, the ceramic variety, and a beer glass, the empty variety. Heading east and south, that would take us to the mahogany logs. Some tapirs. Capybara and tapirs, like that's kind of pygmy hippos. Look at them. Saw the rowboat on the map earlier and felt like it might have been an option to get to the gemstone crab store spawn, and the rowboat decalca story connects these two chunks. It is completable, repeatable. Activate the ads statue, and there's the gemstone crab. AFK combat training, supreme, but also something that might take a wee bit of time. Whilst not coming up as a chunk task, these guys drop dragonstones. Having consulted the wiki, dragonstones in 1 in 500. Now, 3 rolls if you successfully do enough damage. So 1 in 167 on a 10-minute crab. So on rate, we could be looking at 25 hours. That is a monumental amount of progress for one video. So with the gemstone crab in front of us, this here being our first KC, this is as good a spot as any to wrap the video. So thank you for tuning in. If you like what you see, give it a like, give it a subscribe to see episode 22 when it comes out. In the meantime, we are going to be working on some combat to get that dragonstone.